programme of the week.
First tonight, the growing disruption to our region caused by a fifth day without air travel.
Yes, not a single plane left or landed at Stansted, Luton or Norwich airports as the erupting volcano in Iceland continued to spew ash all over northern Europe.
But it's not just air travellers it's affecting now. The prolonged period of aircraft inactivity is hitting all walks of life.
In a moment, Malcolm Robertson on how many teachers are yet to return from their Easter holidays. But first, Rhiannon Mills reports on how businesses and families have been left under a cloud.
Jill Humphrey from Norwich is all packed, ready to visit her mum in Seattle tomorrow. Like thousands of others, she won't be going anywhere. For another day, that volcano in Iceland has grounded all but emergency flights. Even the fact that Jill's mother is seriously ill won't get her to the States.
I just have to see her because, you know, I don't have many chances right now. That's the problem. And everywhere I turn, I can't even speak to anybody. I mean, we're talking literally life and death, and I may not see my mother again.
For the fifth day, there was just silence in the skies at Stansted and all of our region's airports. Travellers desperate to get back to Budapest had to board a coach instead at Luton this morning. Louise Bradshaw from Fordham in Cambridgeshire was due to fly back from Dubai on Saturday. She says it's putting serious pressure on her finances.
Struggling for hotels, but obviously at the moment we're having to pay for hotels ourselves. We haven't been taught, the airline haven't said anything about compensation for hotels and food as well. And to be quite honest, Dubai isn't the cheapest of places to be stuck in. Everything is horrendously expensive out here, and we haven't had any notification of any sort of compensation from the airline at all.
Planes were taking off from Cranfield in Bedfordshire. On board, only scientists trying to get the latest data on where that ash cloud is going.
We saw a steady reduction, and we also see it start to clump, so it become much less evenly distributed. We're now seeing new volcanic products from the recent eruption about 36 hours ago, so that is starting to increase the concentrations again in some places.
And it's not just travellers being held up. This company imports fruit and veg from Africa, but with supplies rotting in a warehouse in Ghana, stocks in the UK are starting to run low.
We fly about 30 tonnes or so each day, each night, into European retailers. Doing so, of course, means that we are totally dependent upon air freight. And so we've been totally thrown by this unexpected volcano, its plume, and the effect on all the aerospace in over Europe.
While the days keep ticking by and those flights continue to be grounded, while some businesses are actually flying, like this taxi firm here in Northampton. Until this week, the furthest one of their drivers had been was Glasgow, a fare of £500. But with planes not flying, they've just taken a group of businessmen to Geneva at a cost of £1,200. Now Sue and Anthony are about to rescue a family stuck in Barcelona, this time for £1,500.
It's really quite serious, but apparently the people that booked us for this have seen the headlines in the Spanish Times or something, in a Spanish paper. So word travels fast, doesn't it, really?
So you've gone international then, by the sounds of it, an international rescue service.
Yeah, that's right, you know, yeah, Thunderbirds.
It may cost the price of a holiday, but at least this one family know they will be coming home. But some experts believe that planes could be back in the skies by tomorrow.
Well, ever since first light this morning, the volcano has still been erupting. The eruption isn't over, but the character of the eruption has changed. There's no longer a high column of ash being projected high into the sky, which is the cause of the problem. There's still ash being emitted, but only at summit level, and it's rolling downhill, and it's not getting high enough to be a continuing problem for aircraft.
Jill is one of those hoping that he's right, desperate that Britain's skies reopen sooner rather than later. Rhiannon Mills, Anglia News at Stansted.
Well, Rhiannon can join us now from Stansted. Rhiannon, as far as the experts are concerned, they reckon that the skies could reopen tomorrow. Is that right, do you think?
Indeed, it could be the news that so many people have been waiting for. After 5 days, it is likely that parts of Britain's airspace will reopen. We're hearing that flights could take off from Scotland and parts of northern England and Ireland, and it's hoped that those restrictions could also later in the afternoon be lifted in our part of the world as well. Now, it won't just be passengers who are pleased to hear that, businesses as well. Today, EasyJet have revealed that so far the 5 days of restrictions have cost them £40 million. They've had to cancel 4,500 flights. Of course, taxi firms, for example, who rely on business here at Stansted, they've been seeing a serious drop in trade as well. And also at the Luton and Dunstable Hospital, they've currently got around 25 consultants and nurses who are stranded abroad. So it's going to be a huge relief to everybody if they can once again see these planes taking to the skies.
And Rhiannon, you're a victim too, like thousands of others. You're supposed to be on holiday at the moment.
Yes, I'm trying not to feel too sorry for myself. I should have been taking off from here at Stansted to go to Italy on the weekend. I have, though, managed to rebook my flight to next weekend, so fingers crossed that I'll be jetting off then. But it's when you hear stories like Jill, for example, unable to go and see her sick mother in America, that you really realise the true repercussions of this restriction on flights.
Indeed, well, let's hope she gets there now as well. Well, Victoria, of course, you were a victim as well last week. You were trying to get back from Ireland. Is there anything good that's come out of this at all, do you think, or not?
Well, obviously, people were tired, they were frustrated, but you did get a real sense of everyone pulling together. Everyone was very helpful. The ferry companies were holding the ferry so we could all buy a ticket and get on, and with the trains, they were holding the train so we get on the train. So, no, it was good to have everyone being very helpful.
Bit of spirit to come back.
Now, schools around the region face serious disruption this week because of the problems with the volcano.
Yes, hundreds of teachers and thousands of students are stranded abroad. One head teacher from Norfolk, due to start a new job today, is actually stuck in Hong Kong.
Well, there seems to be some movement now. It's feared that exams may have to be cancelled. Malcolm Robertson reports.
For Year 8 students at Thorpe St Andrew's School near Norwich, this afternoon's geography lesson was certainly topical. The problems posed by the Icelandic volcano, problems that have led to 12 of the school's teaching staff and more than 50 students being stranded abroad.
We're having to do some reorganisation to make sure that exam classes, with exams very close now, are going to be taught by permanent members of staff who know the syllabus and know what the youngsters need, and using the supply teachers to cover areas, for non-exam classes.
With such massive worldwide disruption, it's no wonder Head of Geography Richard Taylor is fielding a barrage of questions. For a lot of educational establishments, there are difficult questions to wrestle with. Cambridge University, for instance, has had to cancel some exams this week. Kingswood Primary School in Chatteris is certainly struggling to cope. It's seriously depleted in the teaching department, with almost 50% missing. 8 of the 17 teachers are stranded abroad. 5 of them have been to the Caribbean island of Aruba, but are now in nearby Curaçao. Amy Stanford's in Cuba, Caroline Simpson in Morocco, and Richard Moore is in Sicily.
I think I first woke up to it on Thursday morning when I realised that flights were being stopped, and I knew that we had a number of teachers who were due to fly Thursday or Friday. I think it was sort of a moment of panic, and then it was just a case of having to make sure I'd got a plan.
At the village primary school at Thurton in Norfolk, the 92 children are back tomorrow. But there'll be no head teacher. Cassandra Williams was supposed to start her new job today, but she's currently stuck in Hong Kong, having been to her brother's wedding in Australia. With most schools returning tomorrow, the true extent of the problem will only be revealed then. But with supply teachers likely to be in demand, this could be a tricky time for school budgets. Malcolm Robertson, Anglia News.
Well, moving on now. Next